Hi, this is Pam, Flower Patch Farmhouse, and we have a new ventilation system, just in case you didn't know. 2 bears visited. They were about 300 pounds each and decided they wanted in the greenhouse and didn't want to use the door. So they created their own little opening. I just got finished cleaning up from them the mess they made and the damage they did. And now I'm going to start showing you how to start petunias from cuttings. Okay, so I'm going to get all my stuff here together, and then I'm going to show you how easy it is, and you can do this too. So grab up some petunias you have and create even more so that you can have tons for your pots, containers, hanging baskets, etc. It's a lot of fun to do this, and it's a great way to stay on budget with your garden and have tons and tons of flowers too. First, I'm going to start by filling up my container. This is just a large 6-pack container for the cuttings. And I just fill it really well. And I'm going to go ahead and put this in a bit of water. You see my poor little water pan here. It got smushed by the bears. That's why it's all warped instead of flat. And I'm going to fill this with water. Hopefully I have enough water in my container, or I can just go along here. A lot of times if it's seeds, I especially do it from the bottom. But since this is just dirt in here, I want to get it settled in. I don't always do it this way. Sometimes I put my cuttings in dry and then water from the bottom. But this way, when I make my little divots with my tool, the hole will remain open rather than the dirt falling back in. So that's my theory on that one. Okay, so we got the soil, got it watered, and actually this is my DIY soil that I have a blog post on, so if you wanted to make your own, you have that, or a good, reputable, healthy potting soil like Edna's Best, which is by E.B. Stone, or the Proven Winners one is also good potting soil, and there's lots of good quality brands. Some store brands are, they're good as far as just dirt, but they have no nutrition, and those I would add like a cup or 2 of worm castings to give it some little bit of nutrition. Worm castings are very mild and help to plants to grow without being overpowering for newbies. Okay, so now I'm going to go get my petunia, and that is right here. And I'm going to make sure you can clearly see what I'm going to be doing. Now this doesn't have very much growth on it because it's a new one. Let me go grab another one that might be a little bit bigger. I zoomed in here a little bit so you can see better what I'm doing. Now even though this has a flower on it, you still can take the cutting from it. So you see this is the stem. This is a long stem. And I'm going to cut it back here underneath a leaf node. Now a leaf node is where you got a branch coming out with a leaf. And I said all that, and then I didn't have a pair of cutters sitting here. So I'm just going to cut right down here. That will still grow out there. Actually, I had taken cuttings of this one earlier, and that's why it's pretty short, but it's already got a lot of flowers coming on it, and it's got new, fresh growth. It also will stimulate it to produce more growth. So I'm going to do this one too. This one isn't quite as long, but it is a very sturdy stem, and I'm going to come down here as far as I can. It's very leafy, so hopefully you can see that underneath there. And I'm just going to cut right beneath the leaf node. And so, you need to cut the flowers off. That way it won't be taking energy from it rooting. But here's 2 different ones. This is like a smaller petunia, but it's really pretty pink. I got this one at a local nursery, and actually it had overwintered there, and it was kind of scrappy looking. But I picked it up anyways, knowing I could revive it. And this one was in a 6-pack at a grocery store, and I just picked it up because I haven't been able to go to a garden center and buy 6 packs of petunias. And so this is a good way. Also, I have seeds of a vintage heirloom petunia that I just ordered, and I'm going to plant those. And though some of the new hybrids are very fancy, and fast growing. The old-fashioned ones are so pretty and very, very scented, and it's really pretty. So I'm going to go ahead and point my camera down here at the table so you can see how I prepare these to be stuck into the soil. So here we go. Now I've got these two victims here, and I'm going to remove the leaves from the stems. So I'm going to try to do this without my hand in your way, and I'm just going along and removing the stems, or the leaves from the stem. Move it out of your way. And it doesn't, the cutting that doesn't even have to be really this long. And this will end up looking really short too. I should say that more than anything. Okay, so I'm going to cut the flower off. Just cut it off. Cut these two flowers off. And there you're left with you don't want very many, or very much of a leaf there. As little as possible, because you want to put its energy into, I'm just trying to get closer to the stem here. And I have my rooting hormone in this little jar. This is the Hormex 8. It's a little bit powerful for this, but it won't hurt it. As far as I have, it's worked for me. Someone may say, oh, it's not good to use an overly powerful one. But you see, I just have it on the end there. And then I have the hole made. Stick it down in the hole and cover it up. And we do the same with this one. This one has a much thicker stem, but it's just a different type of petunia. So let me get my hand over here. And see, this has a bud or a stem coming out to the side. I cut that off. So you cut everything away from the main stem. All the way around. It has a bunch of little flower stems. Is what those are. Where it was going to produce a flower. So this is a very healthy one. This one, like I said, I potted up. I got this a couple months ago and potted up it was a 6-pack. In fact, it might be where I got this packet that I'm sticking these in. And I just potted them up into 1-gallon pots that I had, or cans, whatever nurseries call them, cans. And let them grow on so I could take cuttings from them. I do have a greenhouse, so that makes it nice. Well, part of a greenhouse now because the bears keep tearing it up. But, okay. So it's pretty much a bare stem. And then I do the same thing. And I'll bring this down. Let me put something down so the water doesn't go anywhere. And then I'm going to poke a hole to put the stem in, and I put it down in there. And do that. And then I will show you something. I have these dome type lids that create a small greenhouse, and on them there is these little holes, which makes it nice for ventilation. It used to have a little thing that you could turn to adjust the ventilation, but I never used them, so it didn't matter that they came off. I've had these for 10 years and use them over and over and over again, and it's really nice for keeping the humidity in and not having to fuss with a plastic baggie or anything else. Also, I've done this with a fish tank, a glass fish tank, but another time a bears broke in. They broke the fish tank, so I no longer have that. But you can see it on my post, how to root lilacs from cuttings. So there's where they go, and this is just those flats you get from the nursery. And so I save those, and that's what I use as the base for these. So they seem to fit perfectly on there. And that is how I root petunia cuttings. Now, I would guesstimate with the right conditions, which, you know, not too hot, not too cold, conditions that they will root in 4 to 6 weeks. That's about average for a lot of things. There's a lot of variables in that, but don't be afraid to give it a try. It doesn't hurt the parent plant. Like I said, this one, which is we're taken from, and look at all the new growth with buds on this one. So it doesn't hurt them. It actually helps it to branch more and be a thicker, lesser plant. So it's a gain. Also, when you prune up or cut back your petunias, you know, like midsummer, they're starting to get a little gangly, then use those cuttings to start more. And some cuttings I started last fall, I actually overwintered here in the greenhouse and got more from it. Let me see, is this one? This is one I had rooted, yeah, this is one, last fall, and it overwintered here in the greenhouse just fine. So I've never tried to overwinter them in the house. I don't know how that would do. You could probably do it in a bright room that didn't have a lot of extra heat. But anyway, so a lot of those cuttings too I have in there are from ones I had overwintered that were cuttings from last year's petunias. So I hope you enjoyed this video on propagating petunias from cuttings. Give it a whirl and let me know how it works for you. I'll see you in the next video. Without the bears.